Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa from Chicago, USA. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father, Pope Francis, has affirmed that the Vatican's ties with China are very respectful, and a commission has been working for a long time with the Chinese government with regard the appointment of bishops in the mainland. He said this on Monday, September 4th, while addressing the media on board the flight returning to Rome after concluding his visit to Mongolia. The pontiff said that the channels are very open and that the commission chaired by Cardinal Pietro Parolin is doing well on this friendly path regarding the appointment of prelates. The head of the Vatican State also said that he has great respect for the Chinese people and that the one must advance in the religious aspect to understand each other better so that Chinese citizens do not think that the Church does not accept their culture and values. The Apostolic Visit of Pope Francis to Mongolia for the sake of the small Catholic community has been a grace of God for the entire country, said the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Central Asia. Bishop Jose Luis Mumbiela Sierra said in an interview with Vatican News that the Pope's visit to Mongolia and his Kazakhstan trip last year represent the beauty of the faith that is incarnated in the reality in which all are living. The bishop of Spanish origin said the Church does not change the gospel, and it is the same gospel that everyone receives. Bishop Sierra said the visit of the pontiff showed the faith of the simple people of the country and those who came from neighboring nations as well. He said that each event and every moment during the papal visit had its own special grace, just like the sacraments. In Muslim-majority Pakistan, church leaders and rights activists are seeking a probe into the anti-Christian attacks in Jaranwala. This comes as certain Christians of the riot-affected area were arrested by police who are alleging a foreign conspiracy to create religious strife. Church of Pakistan President Asad Marshal said the claim of the police chief about a foreign conspiracy was ludicrous and an attempt to bury the facts. Chairman of the Minorities Alliance Pakistan, Akmal Bhatti, also demanded a probe into the incident. He said the international community witnessed how police remained inactive while a mob looted and torched Christian homes. The human rights-focused Pakistan has also strongly condemned the attack on Christians on August 16. The group also expressed concerns about the recent threats and fears of Christians in the country. The Denmark-based think tank for persecuted Christians has reported that never have Christians been persecuted across the globe in this manner. The think tank's board member, Fourfold Krishna, cited the example of Christian oppression in China, India, and Africa. The General Secretary of persecution watchdog Open Doors Denmark said Africa accounts for a large portion of the killings of Christians across the world. Jens Lund Jensen said 90% of the killings of Christians in the continent took place in Nigeria last year. He added that villages in central Nigeria are attacked at night by Islamist outfits and Christians are gunned down. The militants also systematically burn their crops. The think tank said that other African nations are also becoming unsafe for believers. Jihadist groups such as the Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and the Fulani herdsmen are wreaking havoc among Christian hamlets. In France, 2 doctors are expressing concern about the possible legalization of euthanasia for people suffering from psychological problems. Psychiatrist Faraja Hosseini and Dr. Bruno Della Porta wrote in La Croix that those who want to lift the ban on killing are ignoring that they are good legal practices which are poorly known, poorly taught, and badly applied. They also wrote that they found it cynical that the French state did not promote the transmission of these values of care and instead made the population internalize the idea that helping people to die is a generous solution. On the other hand, France has promised that the case of legalization, the option would not be available to psychiatric patients. But both Hosseini and De La Porta are not satisfied with the guarantee. They are citing the example of Belgium and the Netherlands, where the curbs on psychiatric patients were taken away over a period of time. They are saying that once the door is open, it will be too late. The United States has criticized Azerbaijan for preventing the transportation of food and other essential supplies to the Armenian-dominated region of Nagorno-Karabakh, where there is a blockade in place. Washington has raised concerns over a genocide by starvation against 120,000 Armenians in the region. Since December last year, the region has been experiencing varying degrees of blockade and is completely cut off from Armenia, which has been supplying food and other items. The U.S. State Department expressed grave concern over the deteriorating humanitarian conditions in the region. The department also sought the immediate reopening of the strategic Lachin corridor that connects Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia. Former Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Luis Moreno Ocampo, warned last week that Azerbaijan was preparing for genocide against the ethnic Armenians of the region. Almost all of them are Christians. There are news reports from Iran that 2 female journalists have been sentenced to a month behind bars as part of a 3-year, partly suspended jail term. Both Nejin Bagheri and Elnaz Mohammadi have been sentenced for charges such as conspiracy and collusion. Speaking to the Ham Mian Daily, their lawyer said that the 2 journalists must serve 1 month in prison. He said the remaining period is suspended over 5 years. During that time, Bagheri and Mohammadi must take a professional ethics training program and will be barred from leaving Iran. However, it is not known if the verdict can be appealed. Mohammadi's sister, Ilahi, works for Hamihan in jail since September last year. Ilahi was put behind bars for reporting on the funeral of 22-year-old Kurdish girl Masa Amini, who died in police custody for violating the Islamic Republic's dress code. Amini's death triggered months-long agitations across the country. In Uganda, police announced on Sunday, September 3rd, that they foiled a bomb attack planned on a cathedral in the capital, Kampala. They have also arrested a man who allegedly tried to activate an explosive device in Rubaga Miracle Center Cathedral. Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango said they carried out a controlled detonation of the improvised device consisting of nails, a motorbike battery, a charger, and a telephone handset. He said investigators tracked down the culprit following a tip-off about a possible bomb attack. Upon arrest, they found the explosive device in a sack. Investigators are also after 3 men who are believed to be accomplices of the culprit. The entire cathedral was cordoned off, and sniffer dogs and members of the bomb squad inspected the area to ensure it was safe. Separately, in Pakistan, law enforcement agencies have foiled a terrorist attack plan by arresting 7 militants. 2 of them are key commanders of the Islamic State. The other militants belong to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Lashkar-e-Jhangvi terror outfits. The arrests were made in Punjab province on Monday by the Counter-Terrorism Department, or the CTD, according to the police. The arrests were made during several intelligence-based operations in different parts of the province. Investigators said there were plans to target several installations across the province. During the raids, police also recovered 3,100 grams of explosives, 14 detonators, apart from banned literature and cash. The prelates of the Southern African Catholic Bishops' Conference, or the SACBC, have called for the protection of whistleblowers who courageously denounce the corruption in their countries. The SACBC is comprised of bishops from South Africa, Botswana, and Eswatini. The bishops pledged their continuous solidarity and prayers for the whistleblowers. They also lauded them for their courage and for their self-sacrifice. The bishops are also urging the Justice Department to find a way to protect those who denounce corruption. They also expressed hope that the proposed legal reforms on whistleblowers released by the department will translate into effective action for their safety. Whistleblowers played a key role in the Zondo Commission probe into how private interests were influencing the decision-making process in South Africa. Christian groups comprising concerned parents in Mexico have taken to the streets to protest against the books issued by the Education Department as they believe the texts contain Marxist communist indoctrination. They also alleged that the educational materials contain sexual and gender ideology content. One of the groups of parents went to the extent of publicly burning the books that they found to be offensive. The incident took place in Aguascalientes, where at least 12,000 people took part. Parents also burned textbooks in Chiapas, bordering Guatemala. There are reports that at the elementary school in Chiapas, parents piled up the new textbooks and doused fuel over them before setting them on fire. More than 112,000 signatures were also collected in a campaign seeking the halt of the textbook distribution. On the other hand, the Mexican government has rebuffed the claims of parents, saying they are baseless. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.